morning, TK. We're going to begin with some reading today. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's been having a great week so far. And we're going to jump right in with our objectives. Objective is what we are going to learn. I can identify long and short objects. We also have a second objective today for our second activity page, and that objective is I can tell apart squares and rectangles. Okay, so let's look at our first objective here. Our first objective is to identify long and short objects. So for that, we're going to look at identify. Remember, identify means to find. And we've got our, oh, that's not eyes. We've got to put our eyes right up here for identify. And notice I drew one long line and one short line here to show us the difference between long and short. For our second objective, we're going to be looking at squares and rectangles. And I think for that one, we're also going to need our eyes, but we already have that one on the board. So we're going to also need to use our brain to think about what makes squares and rectangles different. And I'm going to use my brown crayon up here to talk about squares and rectangles for a second. So I'm going to draw a big square and a big rectangle. I think I'm going to have our otter move for a second. I'm going to put them right down here. I'm going to move our brain. And let's look at what makes these two things different. Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a square has 4 sides. Now let's count the sides of our rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. A rectangle also has 4 sides. But what's different about the sides of our square and the sides of our rectangle? Does one of them have longer sides? The rectangle. Remember, the rectangle has 2 sides longer than the other 2. Oh yeah. And our square actually has all sides the same size. You could also do a rectangle this way. Notice this time it still only has 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now we have 2 sides longer than the other 2. So our long sides are up and down this time. So we're going to go look at our activity sheets now over at the screen, and we'll be working on these 2 objectives. So let's go ahead and go over to the screen. All right, TK, so now we're going to go ahead and get started with activity page number 7. So you should have your page, it looks like this, and a brown crayon and a pencil to begin. So go ahead and start by writing your name at the top, and then have your brown crayon ready. Because here's what our job is. Remember, our objective for this page was to identify long and short objects. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to be underlining the longer objects in each picture. So we're going to begin by looking at the picture in the top left box. You're going to see 2 children. I would like you to underline the child who has longer hair. Who has longer hair. So go ahead and do that now. So your page should look like this now. I put a brown line under. I underlined the person who had longer hair. Okay, we're gonna look at the box next to it. You're gonna see 2 trucks. In this box, please underline the longer truck. The longer truck. So now your page should look like this. I underlined the longer truck. All right, we're gonna look at the next box. The next box shows 2 hot dogs. Underline the hot dog that is longer. So now your page should look like this. I put an underline under the hot dog that is longer. We're gonna look at the last box in the first row. In that box, 2 women are wearing dresses. Which woman is wearing a longer dress? Underline the woman wearing the longer dress. So the woman in the blue dress has a longer dress, so I put a line under her. I underlined her. Now we're going to look at the next row, and we're going to go all the way back to the left side, and we see two people with beards. I would like you to underline the person who has the longer beard. Who has the longer beard? Oops. So now your page should look like this. Now we're going to look at the next box over, and we see two kids wearing pants. They're wearing pants. Can you please underline the person who is wearing the longer pants? The longer pants. Okay, now in this box we see two pencils. Two pencils. Now we're going to underline the longer pencil. Where is the longer pencil? And now your page should look like this. And lastly, we see two dogs in our last box here, in the bottom right corner. One of the dogs has a longer tail. Which dog has a longer tail? Underline the dog with the longer tail. And now our page should look like this, and we underlined all of our long things. So we were able to identify short and long. Nice work, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to activity page number 8. All right, you guys, now we're on activity page number 8. And remember, our objective for this page is to identify or to tell apart squares and rectangles. So you see at the top here, a blue square and a brown rectangle. Now our job for this page is to find all the squares and color them blue, and find all the rectangles and color them brown. Remember, squares and rectangles both have 4 sides, but rectangles have 2 sides that are longer and 2 sides that are shorter. And squares have all 4 sides the same shape. So what I want you to do now is go ahead, pause the video, fill in your work, and then check back in to see if you got it all correct. Nice work. All right, TK, I hope you all filled in your activity page number 8. Here's what it should look like. Wait a second, I got one incorrect. See, even I make mistakes, you guys. There we go. Now, I hope you all have your page looking like this. And take a picture of both your activity sheets, turn them into me, and I'll see you back here for handwriting and phonics.